New tensions are rising in one of the most important shipping routes in the world. Multiple ships have been hit by explosions and projectiles in waters around the Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, sending shockwaves through global energy markets and raising serious concerns about the safety of international trade routes. Authorities say that several vessels were damaged in separate incidents within a short period of time, while rescue operations rushed to assist crews caught in the attacks. The situation has quickly escalated into a major international security concern, especially as the conflict in the region continues to grow. Here's what we know so far about these incidents and why the Strait of Hormuz has once again become the center of global attention. The first incident: explosions near the Iraqi coast. The first reports came from waters near the Iraqi port of Qasr, where two foreign fuel tankers were struck by explosions. According to maritime authorities, the blast caused severe damage to the vessels and triggered an immediate emergency response. Rescue boats quickly moved toward the damaged ships as thick smoke was seen rising from the area. Officials confirmed that one person lost their life during the incident, while dozens of others were rescued from the ships. Maritime tracking data showed several rescue vessels surrounding the tankers shortly after the explosions were reported. Operations at nearby oil ports were temporarily halted as authorities assessed the situation and worked to ensure the safety of other vessels in the area. While investigations are still ongoing, early reports suggest that explosive devices may have been involved in the attack. Attacks reported in the Strait of Hormuz. Not long after the tanker explosions, additional reports emerged from the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical waterways for global energy supplies. Maritime security agencies said that 3 cargo vessels were struck by unidentified projectiles in separate locations within the strait. One of the affected ships was a Thai flag vessel traveling through the region when an explosion reportedly occurred near the stern of the ship. The blast triggered a fire inside the engine room, forcing the crew to abandon the vessel. Rescue teams later managed to evacuate most of the crew members using lifeboats and emergency vessels. Authorities confirmed that the majority of the crew were brought to safety after being picked up by naval forces in the area. Images released later showed heavy smoke rising from the cargo ship, while rescue teams worked to control the fire. More ships damaged in separate incidents. Maritime monitoring agencies also confirmed that 2 other cargo ships were hit during the same wave of incidents. One container ship, flying a Japanese flag, reportedly sustained minor damage after being struck by a projectile while traveling off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. Another vessel was hit further northwest of Dubai, according to security reports. While damage details remain limited, the attack has added to growing concerns about shipping safety in the region. In a separate development, a container ship traveling off the coast of the UAE was also hit by a projectile. Fortunately, officials reported that all crew members on that ship were safe and no environmental damage had been detected. Despite the limited damage in some cases, the pattern of repeated attacks has alarmed shipping companies and maritime security agencies. A strategic waterway under threat. The Strait of Hormuz is considered one of the most important maritime corridors in the world. Every day, millions of barrels of oil pass through this narrow waterway, connecting Gulf producers to global markets. Because of its strategic location, even minor disruptions in the strait can have a major impact on global energy supplies. Shipping analysts say that the situation has already begun affecting maritime traffic. Several vessels have slowed down or changed routes, while shipping companies assess the risks of traveling through the region. Some ships have also been forced to wait outside the strait because of safety concerns. Experts warn that if the situation continues to deteriorate, it could disrupt international trade and fuel supplies worldwide. Impact on global energy markets. The incidents have already triggered strong reactions in global energy markets. Oil prices have shown sharp fluctuations as traders react to the possibility of a prolonged disruption in one of the world's key shipping routes. Energy experts say the uncertainty surrounding the safety of the strait has created a volatile environment for global oil markets. In response to the situation, international energy authorities announced plans to release large emergency oil reserves in an attempt to stabilize global supplies. The move is designed to offset potential shortages if shipping through the Strait of Hormuz becomes significantly restricted. Growing tensions in the region. The maritime attacks come amid rising tensions in the wider region following recent military confrontations. Over the past weeks, multiple countries have reported drone interceptions, missile alerts, and security incidents across several Gulf nations. Authorities in the United Arab Emirates confirmed that drones have been intercepted near a major airport, injuring several people and briefly disrupting nearby operations. Meanwhile, air defense systems in other countries across the region have also reported intercepting missiles and drones aimed at military or strategic targets. These developments have raised fears that the conflict could expand further if attacks continue. Shipping industry on high alert. Shipping companies and maritime organizations are now closely monitoring the situation. Some operators say they have vessels currently stranded near the entrance of the Strait of Hormuz while they wait for updated security guidance. Others are considering alternative routes to avoid the area altogether. However, avoiding the strait is not always easy. Because of its location, many trade routes rely heavily on passage through these waters. Experts warned that prolonged instability could cause delays in global supply chains, affecting everything from fuel shipments to commercial goods. Major ports across the Gulf region are also watching the situation carefully as disruptions could impact cargo movement and logistics operations. International response. Global leaders have begun discussing possible measures to secure maritime routes in the region. One option under consideration involves coordinated naval escorts for commercial vessels traveling through the strait. Such operations have been used in the past when shipping routes face security threats. Military analysts say protecting merchant ships in the area would require close cooperation between several international navies. However, implementing such a strategy could take time, especially as tensions remain high. Why the situation matters. The events unfolding around the Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz are being closely watched around the world. Because such a large share of global energy supplies passes through this corridor, even limited disruptions can quickly influence international markets and political decisions. Security experts say that the recent attacks highlight how vulnerable global trade routes can be during periods of geopolitical conflict. If instability continues, the consequences could extend far beyond the region itself. Higher energy prices, shipping delays, and economic uncertainty are just some of the risks that could follow. What happens next? For now, authorities and shipping companies are continuing to assess the damage and monitor developments. Rescue operations have been completed for most of the affected crews, and investigations are underway to determine exactly how the attacks were carried out. Meanwhile, naval forces in the region remain on alert as they monitor vessel movements and respond to potential threats. Analysts say the coming days will be crucial in determining whether the situation stabilizes or escalates further. The recent explosions and attacks on ships near the Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz have once again highlighted the fragile security situation in one of the world's most important maritime corridors. With multiple vessels damaged, rescue operations carried out, and global energy markets reacting to the uncertainty, the incidents are a reminder of how quickly regional tensions can impact the wider world. As investigations continue and international responses take shape, the safety of shipping routes in this critical waterway will remain a key issue for governments, businesses, and global markets alike. For now, the world is watching closely to see what happens next in these strategic waters.